Your thoughts are rewriting your DNA right now. Every belief you hold, every expectation you carry, every mental story you tell yourself is sending chemical signals through your bloodstream, activating genes, suppressing others, and physically restructuring your body at the cellular level. This is not metaphor. This is not motivation. This is measurable, repeatable, scientifically documented biological fact. For decades, medicine treated the mind and body as separate entities, but revolutionary research has shattered that wall completely. What we're discovering is that your mindset doesn't just influence how you feel about your health, it directly determines your actual physiological state. The implications are staggering. In the next few minutes, we'll reveal exactly how powerful your mind really is, and why changing your thoughts might be the most effective medicine you'll ever take. In 2007, Harvard psychologist Alia Crum conducted an experiment that would fundamentally challenge our understanding of physiology. She studied 84 hotel chambermaids who cleaned an average of 15 rooms per day, work that far exceeded the Surgeon General's recommendations for daily exercise. Yet 76% believed they didn't exercise regularly. Crum divided them into two groups. One group received detailed information showing how their work was excellent exercise, explaining the calories burned and muscles engaged. The control group received nothing. 4 weeks later, with no changes to their actual work routines, the informed group had lost an average of 2 pounds, lowered their blood pressure by 10%, and showed significant decreases in body fat percentage and waist-to-hip ratio. The control group showed no changes whatsoever. Same work, same physical activity, different belief, different body. The chambermaids weren't just feeling healthier, their bodies had physically transformed because their minds now recognized the activity as beneficial exercise. This wasn't psychology affecting mood, this was psychology rewriting physiology. The mechanisms behind mindset's power operate through specific biological pathways. When you hold a belief about your health, your hypothalamus translates that thought into hormonal signals. These cascade through your pituitary gland into your bloodstream, affecting every system in your body. Studies using functional MRI scans show that when patients expect pain relief, their brains release endogenous opioids, the body's natural painkillers, before any medication is administered. The placebo effect isn't imagination, it's your brain's pharmacy opening for business. Research from the University of Colorado found that placebos trigger the same neural pathways as actual drugs, creating measurable changes in neurotransmitter activity. Even more striking, a 2014 study in Science Translational Medicine showed that when asthmatics were given fake inhalers they believed were real medication, their airways physically dilated. Lung function tests confirmed actual physiological improvement with zero active ingredients. Your immune system is constantly eavesdropping on your thoughts. Optimistic mindsets correlate with higher natural killer cell activity, stronger antibody responses to vaccines, and faster wound healing. The mind isn't separate from the body, it's the conductor of your body's symphony. Stress has been labeled a silent killer, blamed for everything from heart disease to premature aging. But Stanford psychologist Alia Crum discovered something extraordinary. It's not stress itself that damages you, it's your belief about stress. In a study tracking 30,000 adults over 8 years, researchers found that high stress increased risk of death by 43%, but only for people who believed stress was harmful. Participants who experienced high stress but viewed it as enhancing, who saw their racing heart as preparing them for challenges and their increased breathing as delivering oxygen to their brain, showed no increased mortality risk. In fact, they had among the lowest death rates in the entire study, even lower than people with minimal stress. When you reframe stress as your body mobilizing resources rather than breaking down, your physiological response literally changes. Blood vessels that would normally constrict instead remain relaxed, creating a cardiovascular profile similar to moments of joy and courage. Your stress hormones don't decrease, but they're joined by oxytocin, which protects your cardiovascular system and helps your heart cells regenerate. Same stressor, different mindset, completely different biological outcome. In the 1950s, Dr. Bruno Klopfer treated a patient named Wright who had advanced lymphoma. Wright heard about an experimental drug called Krebiozin and begged for treatment. Within days of receiving it, his tumors had shrunk dramatically. Months later, reports emerged questioning Krebiosen's effectiveness. Wright's cancer returned almost immediately. Dr. Klopfer then told Wright that a new, more potent version of the drug was available, but actually injected him with plain water. Wright's tumors vanished again. When definitive studies proved Krebiosen was worthless, the news reached Wright. He died within days. This isn't an isolated case. A comprehensive analysis of antidepressant trials found that 75% of the drug's effectiveness could be replicated with placebos. Knee surgery studies where patients received fake operations, just incisions with no actual repair, showed identical improvement rates to those receiving real procedures. Your expectations create a self-fulfilling prophecy at the cellular level. When you believe a treatment will work, your prefrontal cortex activates reward pathways, releasing dopamine that enhances healing. Gene expression studies show that belief alone can upregulate genes associated with healing and downregulate inflammatory responses. The most profound implication is that you can deliberately harness this power. Mindset interventions are now being tested as medical treatments. Cancer patients trained in stress-enhancing mindsets show improved immune function during chemotherapy. Diabetics who reframe their condition as manageable rather than devastating show better glucose control with the same medication. The key is specificity. Vague positive thinking doesn't work. Your brain needs concrete biological narratives. Instead of just thinking positive thoughts, understand the mechanism. When you view a challenge as something you can handle, your body produces DHEA alongside cortisol, creating what researchers call a growth index. This changes stress from toxic to strengthening. Your beliefs need to feel credible, which is why education matters. When people learn the science behind mind-body connections, they gain the biological literacy to craft effective mindsets. This isn't about denying reality or replacing medicine with wishful thinking. It's about recognizing that your interpretation of reality is itself a powerful biological intervention. Every thought you think is prescribing medicine or poison. You have more control over your physiology than you ever imagined. Your mind is not merely housed in your body, it is continuously reconstructing your body. Every belief sends signals, every expectation triggers cascades. The chambermaids, the stress survivors, the placebo responders, they all demonstrate the same truth. Physiology follows psychology. This doesn't diminish the importance of medicine, exercise, or nutrition, but it elevates the mind to its rightful place as a primary determinant of health. You are not a prisoner of your biology, you are its author. If this blew your mind, subscribe for weekly facts that change how you see the world.